Welcome to Motherhood in ADHD. I'm your friend, Patricia Sen. My mission is to be a lighthouse for mothers with ADHD, helping you find your path to success by learning to appreciate your ADHD as an asset. I'm seeking to change the paradigm that ADHD means your life is doomed to be a hot mess. So I'm sharing strategies and encouraging you in your pursuit of happiness to love who you are every day of your ADHD life. Hey there, successful mama. It's your friend Patricia. So I wasn't too sure this recording was going to happen today. I am not having the best day physically. It's part of having a chronic illness is that some days are fine and some days are not fine. And I'm thankful that before I would have just turtled up and crawled into bed and not left. And now that I'm in better space, I'm able to pull myself forward when I need to pull forward, and I'm also able to accept when it needs to be rest time a little bit better. I'm still working on that very much, but not feeling well today made me a little introspective, and I just started thinking about, when we're having rough days, for whatever reason, you happen to be struggling that day, there's this misconception that when you have ADHD, you just go, go, go. And there are so many facets to it, and how most of us have something else going on as well. In the case of having depression or anxiety that really throws you into a full stop a lot. And it's more of a question of how do we correctly direct that focus than not having the ability to focus. It's really an issue of having too much focus and having to narrow it in. And I think a lot of times when we struggle, we just start focusing on the struggle and not focusing on how do we move forward, which just seems ironic that a lot of people see ADHD as people who just never stop moving. So I'm just tossing around in my head, how do I get myself moving today? I don't feel well. All I want to do is curl up in a ball. I don't have that option today. I need to get stuff done. And it's not that I'm in such a horrible state that I can't move. I recognize the difference between it's not one of those times where I just have to throw in the towel and say, hey, this just isn't that day. I need to be able to get some things done based on what's coming in the days ahead. And I started relating to, okay, when else have I been able to get myself motivated when I didn't think I was going to? So I was looking at right now, I've been working really hard on exercising almost every day, eating well, and I've made huge strides. It's so much better this time around. And my thought was, what made it stick this time? Why was this time different? I can think of 100 different times in my life where I started a different meal plan or saying I was going to exercise and all those things just fell apart. What was different this time that here I am a year and a half in making progress? Oh, actually, I'm probably closer to 2 years in. 2 years in, I'm making progress. It's tiny progress. I'm only losing half a pound to a pound a week. And that seems so tiny and that's frustrating. But at the same time, when I look back and I add up all those half pounds and pounds together, it's made a huge difference. And I've lost 26 pounds. And I know that I've gained a ton of muscle, so I know I've lost way more than 26 pounds of fat. But what is the difference? Why is this 97th time of trying to quote unquote be healthier? Why did it matter this time? Why was it something that worked? And I look back at, why did I start this? I have a chronic illness. I have psoriatic arthritis. I was diagnosed after the birth of my first son. So I was diagnosed when I was 34. It started when I was 33 when I had my first son. And after I had my second son, I had additional issues with my pelvis. I have a very grumpy SI joint. And I have done months of physical therapy trying to get everything back in order with my hips. So I have this two separate problems, but they're interrelated because they both deal with my joints and my bones. But I realized, so my options were to keep doing what I was doing, be in pain every day, not be able to pick up my kids, not be able to stand up by the end of the day because my back hurts so bad. I couldn't function like I should, especially being in my 30s. I literally could not do basic things. I still can't sit for a really long time. If I'm standing for too long, my core muscles start fatiguing and my back starts taking on the weight. I mean, just all around, this was not a viable option because I knew how much pain I was in. So my alternative was to make changes in my life so that I didn't have to deal with the pain, that I could hopefully be healthier and make my body strong enough that it wasn't in that state. And I feel like for us with ADHD, we have to have reached the point where it hurts a little. You have to have that fire in your belly, that feeling of wanting something with every fiber of your being, or else we're not able to focus on that goal because we get distracted by all the other things, the impulses, all that other stuff. We don't have the brakes to pause and say, ooh, is that a good idea? Should I do that? Our brain doesn't do that. But when we want something with all of our being, that hyper focus kicks in and we will make the decisions necessary to get there. If we tackle a goal by saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if I lost 10 pounds? Wouldn't it be great if my mornings weren't so stressful? Wouldn't it be great if I ate more vegetables? We are never going to get our dopamine hit with the phrase, wouldn't it be great if? Because we know we can get something done when we are barreling through in hyper-focus mode or really interested in something. Like we know it is possible. So we have to set our mindset with, this is important to us. The phrase, wouldn't it be great, is like a throwaway phrase. It's a careless phrase. It's a thoughtless phrase. It's just a wish. There's nothing behind it. Nobody says, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had more world peace? Wouldn't it be great if there weren't so many mass shootings? No, nobody says it because those things are important. And wouldn't it be great doesn't match there. It doesn't make sense. The people who are making a difference in things like, the things that are like these huge causes, like lowering these mass shooting issues, those people are making a difference because they have a fire in their belly. This probably touched them in some way that this is important to them. And they are going out and making a difference because they have the motivation and the why. So when I'm looking at my sickness and being like, I don't even have to look at like me being 80 or 70 or whatever. Like I don't have to look that far ahead. Like, I mean, I'm almost 40 at this point. And if I look at just what does my life look like at 50, if I'm not taking care of my body, like I can't live like that. I straight up can't do it. I'm not going to be able to function. If I'm still in that same state as I was a year and a half ago, 10 years from now, I can't do it. And the thing is, time blindness usually hurts us when we're looking at big goals because when we have ADHD, we don't think that far ahead. It's not an automatic thing. We have to train ourselves to look at the long term when we want to make different decisions. And so I want you to think about what's that goal that you're shooting for? I need you to boil it down and figure out the why. For me right now, it's like I need more sleep. And I need to be figuring out a way to get my physical therapy exercises done every day because I hurt. At this point, like I'm grumpy, I'm tired, I don't feel good. And it's easy to look at the surface things and be like, oh, well, why do I want to fix that? Oh, well, it'd be nice to be healthier. It would be nice, if my skin glowed more with more sleep. It would be great if I just wasn't hurting so much. But none of those things ignite the fire in my belly to get something done. So when I boiled it down and I said, why is that important? Why is that important? My issue right now is why is getting sleep important is because I boiled it down to the fact that it's damaging the relationships that are important to me. I am grumpy with my family. I am short with my kids, and I don't like that. And so I had to boil it down and sit there in the why of like, why is this so hard? Why is this motivating to me? Why is this important to me? And sift through all that to get down through the muck and mire before I found, here's the root problem that gives me the fire in my belly. It's that I'm tired of hurting my family. I don't want to create that stress and that ugliness in my home. I don't want my kids to know that this is how we react to each other. And so once I recognize that my motivation for getting more sleep and getting my physical therapy exercises in order somehow in my schedule so that they get done, Now that I know that this is something that my family depends on, from how I want our family dynamic to look, now I have the motivation to like get that plan done. Because I've been saying for like, I don't know, my whole life that I'm going to go to bed earlier. And I've been saying I'm going to get my PT exercises scheduled into my schedule for like 6 months now. I don't remember when I graduated, 3 months, 6 months. All this time I keep saying, I'm going to do better at this. And there's always like a story of like, oh, well, you know, I didn't really fix my sleep because this month this happened over here. And that, like, I've been saying all of 2019 that I'm going to get my sleep in order, and I still haven't done it. But now I have boiled down my why. Now I have the motivation to make the plan, to reach out for help, to get this done because I have my why. Maybe you're like me and you've been sitting here saying in all of 2019 that you're going to do whatever the thing is. Why? Why have you been pushing yourself to do that and yet nothing's happening? Is it because when you boil it down, is it that someone else told you that you should probably do that? Are you going back to school because your mom wants you to? Are you looking for another job because your spouse wants you to? Are you buying a bigger house because you feel like in your social circle that's important to look good? Is it for you, or is it for what you think you're supposed to be doing according to everybody else? If you don't care that you're a size whatever, hey, go on, girl, do your thing. You don't have to change the way that you eat if that's not really important to you. If you're happy where you are, great. Then just let it go. Don't worry about what everyone else's expectations are. If you're putting your kids in 37 activities because they have to be able to get into Harvard and have it on their resume, like, boil it down. What are you really pushing for? Are you pushing for Harvard because you think that's what your kid would do best at? Is that where your kid's really going to succeed? Is that where your kid wants to be? Or are you running yourself ragged because you feel like that's what your friends are doing? Boil it down for you. Why are you doing this for you? Sit in it. Feel the ugly. Feel the yuck. Ask another why question and another one until you boil down what's your motivation. And then you have to make a choice. Either you let it go because it's not actually important to you, or you figure out this is important to me. How am I going to sludge through all of the muck around me to figure out why it's actually important to you? Boil it down to the essence of what is important to you. You might have 10 reasons why something's important to you, but only one of them's going to light a fire in your belly so that you are going to make the changes that you need to get done. Now, here's where I knew the marker of success for me was in trying to get healthy. All of a sudden, it wasn't about the number goal. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you don't need goals. But what I'm saying is I realized that it wasn't about hitting 25-pound weight loss or a 40-pound weight loss anymore. What it was about was me feeling healthy and strong and good in my body. My exercise and the way that I eat has become a lifestyle. It's not drudgery anymore to choose protein and vegetables over sugar. I feel better, and I recognize that I am happier when I don't put junk in my body. Now, you can do this too, mama. You can think about anything you've ever achieved that you did for yourself and then see how you can replicate those things. And if you have never achieved anything for yourself, then I want you to start asking why. There's where your why needs to start. I understand that this is ugly and this is uncomfortable, and you have to just sit in the yuck and look at it. But the other side of that process is so worth it. And I want that for you, mama. I want you to find your why. Whether it is a huge goal or just something little that you want to change in your life, I want you to find the why. What is it that makes it worth all of the effort and the hardship and the blood, sweat, and tears you're going to put into the changes to make a difference in your life and in your happiness? I want that for you. I want you to ask yourself why. Ask it over and over and over again until you boil down what it is that is going to change your mindset about why you want to do that goal, why you want to chase that dream, why you want to make changes in your life to do or be something better. I want this for you, mama. I want it for you, and I want it for me. Have an amazing week, successful mama. We can do this. Thank you for listening to Motherhood and ADHD. For more resources, head over to our website, www.motherhoodandadhd.com.